Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Kevin. What's going on YouTube? It's Kevin and Mikkel. We are back with a new video. I hope you guys have had a great weekend. Oh my God. The beginning of my weekend was very rough, but I got through it. Mikkel, how was your weekend?
It was good. I attended the funeral for one of the deacons at my church. I think Deacon Davis may have been one of, if not the longest serving deacon at my church for over 30 years.
Wow.
I attended that on Saturday. This weekend was a quiet weekend because it was hot.
Very
It's
hot.
just been hot. Nothing really, special. Nothing really special this weekend. It was just chill, but I would like one of those annihilators.
Sure. You want an annihilator? Here you go.
Thank you.
So this weekend for me, y'all know y'all was supposed to get a video on Thursday, and Mikkel couldn't make it because he had an appointment.
Yes.
And for me, Thursday, I was like, well, I could do a video. Let me tell you, on Thursday, I was just crying like all day. Anything that came on TV that was emotional, I was crying. Or if I thought about my mom, I was crying.
Thursday was one of the days that you needed. Because remember,
Right.
I told you last week that it's going to come and happen, and you just let it out.
Right.
See?
And that's all I did was just cry. I was just feeling some kind of way all Thursday. And then on Friday, you know how you doze off? I dozed off on Friday on the couch. And then I seen my mom, and I jumped in her arms, and I hugged and kissed her. And then we was talking about something. Then all of a sudden, I just woke up. But I woke up, I was talking like, yeah, they was dancing. Like I was pointing to her on TV. I'm like, what the fuck is dancing? I don't know. But in that moment, it didn't feel like she was going. It was just like
a realistic.
Right. And then when I woke up, I'm like, yeah, she going. Like it's still like sometimes I'd be like, oh my God, she really not here. So I've been going through that part. And then I seen her last night. Like I'm seeing not more than I should, because I mean I know it's a lot of people that wish that they could see a parent or grandparent as often, but I really see her a lot, and sometimes it don't even feel like she's not here because I see her so much. But yeah, it's been some time, but I had some time to be with my friends this weekend. On Saturday night, I went to my friend's apartment, and we just had a good time. We was up until 5 o'clock. I got my Uber and came back home around 5 o'clock in the morning. But we just had.
You should have just spent the night.
I know. I mean, but
5 o'clock in the morning. You just spent the night.
But we just had a good time. Pizza, drinks. We were. I went live on YouTube. We sang. We just had fun. It was just a fun time. So thank you to those who came out on YouTube and all of that good stuff. If you're watching us for the first time, please click the subscribe button. To everyone watching, click the like button. We still ain't get to 2,000 likes yet, and I don't like that. So let's go for 2,000 likes. If you're watching this, click the like button. You're on your phone, you're on your iPad, you're on your Xbox or your YouTube, or your PlayStation. There is a way you can click that like button. Find that like button and click it, and also leave a comment for us. I want to say thank you to those who've been purchasing their mask from the Scorpion Show store. We've sold more masks than shirts. So thank you all so much for getting your mask. We'll be talking more about wearing masks later on in the show. But if you have not purchased your mask, you can click. It's not a link down below, but you'll see pictures of our masks, cups, bags, and everything else that you can purchase from our store.
So make sure y'all purchase them, because we got face masks, and this Rona-ish ain't going nowhere.
Right, and we're waiting for our mask to come, so we'll be masked up on our next video. You'll see a mask on us, and I'm excited to wear it. What else has been going on? So, Entanglements. I know you guys have been waiting for us to get together to talk about this. So on Friday of all days, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith released a Red Table Talk. Now, I think that she did this on a Wednesday because by the end of the weekend, nobody probably will be talking about it. But whatever the case may be, this broke a 24-hour viewing record for Facebook on any of their Facebook watches. I'm not sure what's the number. I didn't see the number, but I did see that it broke a record. So, people have been talking about all weekend about how they're going to be entangled with someone or what entanglements they have been in. And Will and Jada, they sat down, they talked about what went on between August Alsina and Jada Pinkett, and her getting to know him, and then she said they had an entanglement. She also talked about how her and Will's relationship basically was like, she was saying like it was really over, and he was like, it was to the point where I really couldn't stand you, and it was about to be over, but she corrected him and said no, it was over, and all this and that. And I was just like, wow, I'm surprised that she's being so open. And it got to the point where she tried to like beat around the bush, and he was just like, no, let's talk about why we're here. And that's when she talked about the entanglement that she had with August Alsina and how she got to know him. He was broken, and how basically how she tried to help him. And then she explained that she was broken, and it just was like, okay, now you got two broken people coming together. She's broken about what's going on in her relationship. He's broken about his whole life and what's been going on to him, and his road to happiness, his pursuit of happiness. And here you go, supposed to be someone to nurture and care for him, or you tried to take on that role, and you two became lovers, entangled in a love affair. And that's not good. And the reason why, like, I really look down on it is because I think about how when I was like in my teenage years, and you go to mentors to help you, especially when you're gay and you're coming out and you just really going through things, and you start getting to know these mentors, and then next thing you know, you're kissing a mentor. I've been there. Like, those things are not supposed to happen. And the way Will and Jada just played it off like, this ain't nothing, child. This was so 5 years ago. Like, girl, like, it's so old. I don't know why so much news now. I didn't like how they played that shit off. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with that part. That part I do agree with, and I got on my live the other day and I talked about that. I just didn't like the verbiage that she used with the word entanglement. I just thought that, call it, I mean, even though she did say it was a relationship, but I just thought by calling it an entanglement, I thought it kind of minimized what August was telling us, prior to her coming out. Right. But I do agree, because I think because of who it is and the roles are reversed, that a lot of people are not coming at Jada the way they would if it was an older man. Because Jada is 21 years older than August Alsina.
Wow, I didn't even
21 years older than him. Now, you all know I don't have a problem with two adults consenting and doing them, because August is of age. August will be 30, in 2 years. Jada is going to be 50, next year. So he's old enough to know right from wrong. I just didn't like that part, where she, called it an entanglement. And like you said, he came to her broken. He came to them broken and hurt. But the crazy thing about it is he came to her at the very time and the very moment where she was going through what she was going through in her marriage. I would have to say shout out to the Smiths, because I had no clue that they had separated and that anything was going on.
Right.
So shout out to them, shout out to their PR people, shout out to the people who were close to them that kept this shit quiet, because it's very unheard of nowadays with social media, with blogs, for a couple of their status to go through what they've been going through 4 years ago and nobody know anything about it.
Right.
That's almost unheard of. But for them to have gone through that to the point where they were done with each other and we never even knew nothing about it. We, not necessarily me, but a lot of people just assumed that they just invited August into their relationship, right, not knowing that Will and Jada actually were not in a relationship at the time that her and August were entangled, because they were separated. But we didn't know that.
Right.
But I wanted to say this to the people out there who were because I watched it today. I wanted to watch it, the day that we recorded. I watched it today, and I was able to. I enjoyed the 13 minutes of it. I really did, because even though they didn't tell exactly how it started,
Right.
in my opinion, they didn't have to.
Yeah,
it happened.
It's irrelevant.
And see what a lot of people were saying. Well, why is it that Will seems to be so because people, I think, have to understand that, like they said, and they made it very clear, this happened 4.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So to us, we have gone through this and we've moved past it.
Right.
It's not new to us. It's new to y'all because we already dealt with this 4 years ago. Like Jada said, I haven't spoken to August in all this time. So it's
but they were saying that she was lying. That
who knows?
Because people always like to piece receipts together.
I still don't get the whole. I still don't understand how a PR person put out a statement saying that
without consent from the artist.
Yeah, because I said this last week. I don't see how Jada and Will said on the Red Table Talk that the statement that originally came out on behalf of Jada and Will was that what August said was not true. And then a few days later, Jada came out and said that, they were doing it. But my whole thing is, I don't know a PR person who's going to put out a statement without first consenting with their clients.
Right.
So I found that kind of hard to believe. But shout out to the Smiths, because to me, I saw a real couple that said, listen, we went through this shit, and not even just with August, but just ourselves. We were going through a situation in ourselves. And I like that Jada said August is not a home wrecker. He did not wreck anybody's home, because Will and I were already going through before August even came around.
I don't even think anybody thought of
nobody thought that. No. But just to clarify, because some people, like you said, start trying to piece shit together using puzzle pieces to the wrong puzzle. So, you think you're building New York City, but you got Chicago pieces.
Right.
So I like that Jada came out and said that. But I mean, it is what it is. It happened. Move on. I'm one of those people that I just feel bad when celebrities have to come out and explain themselves, because you say to yourself, this is their private life. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the shit that we go through in our private lives, whether it's with our spouses or our family, and not once do we ever think that I got to get on YouTube and explain myself to people?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, it's so unfortunate, because society makes these celebrities think that they have to explain themselves to us. And in reality, they don't. They don't have to explain that to us. But because of, like Will said, Black Twitter blew up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
but she was going to have to answer some type of question.
Well, she was. But I mean, it could have. But who's to say when she was going to answer it? Because first of all, who's doing interviews? Nobody.
Right, nobody.
Nobody's going to go sit down with nobody. So who's to say when Will and Jada would have to talk about this?
Basically, what he did was, you blew up more of the Red Table Talk than what you did for your own album sales, August, because your album only sold 46,000 copies, and Will and Jada is just setting Facebook records, and who's to tell how much money they make?
But I mean, come on, let's be honest. Who was really? And I really, really like August Alsina. Mm-hmm. But let's call a thing a thing. When has anybody ever said, "Oh, I need to go run and buy an August Alsina album"? Never. And the sad thing is, he's very talented. He's a very talented guy, but reality is, wasn't nobody running to go buy his album. They were more so concerned about if he slept with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Right.
That's all.
And then people say, see, I told y'all they was into that, what you call that? Swinging and all that stuff.
But they made it, but I felt like they made it clear that no, that's not what they were into.
They said before, and they answered this before, saying that they don't do that stuff. But just because you said no don't mean it's not true.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like Jada both of them hinted on something that I felt like it isn't true, because Jada made a comment where Will said, "Oh, I'm going to get you back," and then Jada said something like, "Well, you already did get me back," and then they both agreed and laughed like, "Haha, yeah." But I don't think it had anything to do with swinging. I just think that maybe Will did.
Yeah, I'm sure he did
years ago,
right?
But we never knew about it. But they know about it. But I just think that I honestly don't think that. I still to this day don't think that Will and Jada are into that swinging stuff. I really don't, because it would make no sense for her to do what she did with August in private, and then it would make no sense for Will to do, which I'm assuming he did because of the comments that he made and the comments that Jada made, to do it when he did it and not involve Jada. So I'm just like, I don't.
Yeah, I think they both did their thing, and we all told each other, and
they told each other, and we're just finding out. Now, because they told each other, don't necessarily mean they're swingers or have an open marriage. It just means they both cheated, and it is what it is. Right. Now, I have heard in the past. Now, one couple I have heard in the past to be open is Monique and her husband Sydney.
Right.
That she gives him permission. I think she even said herself.
Yeah, but I don't think he's ever strayed.
Yeah.
But she said if he ever did, it would be okay.
It would be okay, right?
But
yeah.
I like Monique and all that, but child. But sometimes, I mean, okay. Now I don't think we've ever talked about this. But if you've been in a committed relationship with someone for a long time, would you ever give them a hall pass?
No.
Never.
I'm not into hall passes. No. Mm-hmm. I'm not into that. I'm not into bringing somebody into the relationship. I'm not into that. Mm-hmm. So it would be a no for me. It would just be a hard no. A hard no.
And I don't know if I can honestly answer that question because I've never been there. But right now, I'll probably say if I could get a hall pass, I would probably accept that hall pass if I could. I probably would. And I'm being truthful about that. But we'll see some years down the line. Or maybe I'll be like, fuck that hall pass. I wouldn't need that hall pass. But sometimes you know, especially as men, we have high sex drives. And sometimes we get caught in situations where we shouldn't be in them and still try to play that game. But this time you're really given permission to do it. Would you really do it?
Before I give you a hall pass, I will invite somebody in.
Oh, wow. You would rather do it together?
I would rather do it together. I wouldn't just give you a hall. No. Even though I'm not into inviting somebody in either. Mm-hmm. But if I had to choose between the two, I would choose inviting somebody in. But I'm definitely not going to give you a hall pass to cheat on me.
Right.
No. That sounds like I'm giving you a hall pass to take a gun and shoot me. Why would I do that?
Now, one thing I will say about this August Alsina thing is I think that he really fell in love when he wasn't supposed to.
And he wasn't supposed to.
It was more of a fling. And people was like, but they was together for 3 years. How can you not fall in love? Listen, see, somebody as grown as her will let him know, I'm never leaving Will. Like, I'm sure he knew that she would never leave her husband. And then, think about it. That's Will Smith. That's August Alsina.
Yeah, but remember they said they were separated. And remember, Will said out of his own mouth, I was done with you.
Yeah, even though he said it, that don't mean, like, let me tell you something. He has made way too much money. And that would be an ugly and nasty divorce.
Yeah, but I think at that moment, nobody's not thinking about that.
No, but I'm
because
just saying.
Remember, August was in a mental state. So if this older woman who is separated from her husband comes to you, prime example, Monica Lewinsky. Mm-hmm. Monica Lewinsky, in her mind, thought that Bill Clinton was honestly going to leave his wife. I mean, she thought that. But that's because you and I don't know what these people are putting in people's heads.
Yeah.
We don't know what Will Smith, what Bill Clinton was telling her. Right. Just like we don't know what Jada Pinkett. I think with August, he knew that Will and Jada are separated. And if I'm with you for 3 years and y'all ain't getting the fuck back together because y'all separated for a long time. I mean, you got some couples who stay separated for years and never get a divorce.
Never get back together.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I think that August, in his mind, and I agree with you that he should not have fallen. He wasn't supposed to fall in love. However, if you're with somebody for that long period of time, it's like, well, then how do you expect them not to fall in love? There's got to be some type of feelings involved because you got to be a hard metal robot to be with somebody for 3 years and not have no type of feelings.
The because I'm probably not supposed to say this. The people I think more that would be falling in love is more the woman and more so the man. And, it's just, I'm glad that he was even able to be vulnerable with us about this situation. Him talking about how much he loved her and had a love for her. And he didn't throw her under the bus that they had sex, but I think Jada let it out with entanglement because there's no other way to say that.
But you see how we give the woman the hall pass where you just said you would expect more the woman to be the one that fall in love. Right. It's just like how people are giving her a hall pass with this whole age difference thing. If she was a man, people would have a fit. But everybody is just all like, yeah, well, we're just having a normal conversation about it.
Right.
But nobody is up in arms at the fact that she's 21 years older. Now, again, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with the age difference. Why? Because they're both grown. August is about to be 30 and she's about to be 50. They're both grown. I don't have a problem with it. But I do know that there are plenty of people who do have problems with these age differences, especially when it's a man who is the
Dating
one,
someone younger.
dating someone younger. But because it's a woman in this situation, you don't see too many people having up now. I'm not going to say there aren't people, because I have seen some people, especially a lot of women, who are upset with how she did this to August, because I saw a lot of women saying how they felt like she manipulated him. And I agree, she did. But you don't see as many people upset and up in arms about it as you would if this was Will Smith doing this to a younger woman.
Right. I just think that certain ages, especially when you're older and you're dating somebody younger, there's definitely something the older person is getting more out of it than the younger person is.
Yeah, they backbone.
So, that's why I like I wish I had the chance to ask my mom those questions, because every man she dated was 10 years younger. My siblings' father, my father, and her ex-husband. Well, not ex-husband. He's widowed now. So, she was always at least 10 years older. And I wonder why she never went for somebody her age. But then again, did it matter? I don't know, did it matter or not? But I do think that once you're a certain age and you definitely dating younger, it's definitely more you're getting out of it than what they're getting out of it. Because, you can spoil somebody young with different things, but how do y'all get this? How do y'all get down mentally? How does this really work? I don't want to know. I mean, maybe somebody in this situation might let me know or say something in the comments, but I definitely am someone who looks down on it without even thinking about how y'all got together or what may happen. I'm just like, no, because I've seen stuff as a young person. I've seen stuff at my age now, and I'll just be like, for some people it just don't, but some people it work, and for some people it just don't work. But if you are one of those people who is with someone at least 15 years older than you, let us know how you make it work. Write it down in the comments down below. I would love to see your comments on that.
Remember, what's her name? Duran
Bernard?
Yeah. Remember, his mother was his father's elementary school teacher.
Oh, my God.
You don't remember that?
No.
Yes. His mother was his father's teacher. His mother taught his father in elementary school. Not high school, elementary school.
Oh, my God.
You don't remember that?
No.
Yes. But again, I don't have an issue with that. Why? Because he became an adult, they started dating, and they got married, and they had a child. I mean, it is what it is.
Making me think of Mary Kay Letourneau, who just passed away.
No.
And she didn't even get the full.
But but Duran's parents are not like Mary Kay, because Mary Kay preyed on that guy while she was his teacher.
Oh my God.
Duran's mother and father got reacquainted once the father became an adult. Right. So that's totally different than
how many
this.
years the age difference?
His mother's much older than his father. Much older than his father.
Oh my God.
I thought you remembered that. That's why I'm always so shocked that you have an issue with it, especially with your mom being so much older than the men that she was with.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, you came up in a household where your mom was older than all the men.
Right.
So what you got a problem with it for?
I do.
You know?
I just look down on it. I do. Maybe that's something I'll have to get over, but I
just don't think it's an issue if everybody's grown. There's no issue. Who says that everybody has to be the same age dates?
Nobody has to be the same age. But sometimes you be like, bitch, now come on. What's really going on?
Listen,
but that's not for me to really judge, but yeah, that's how I think.
My father's 5 years? Well, that's not that much.
Not,
because my father's he's older than my mom, but he's not that much older. He's like 5 years older. My grandfather was like that too. He was like 5 years older than my grandmother.
Yeah, normally the men are always older than the women. Normally, either by a couple years, sometimes even more.
We had two women two of the mothers at my church. Mother Garrett, who just passed away this year, and Mother Ferry. They both were mothers on the mother's board, like 7 years apart, but one was a stepmom and the other one was a stepdaughter.
I'm clocking out on this.
Mother Garrett had married Mother Fairy's father later on in life, and yeah, which should tell you that Mother Fairy's father was much older than Mother Garrett. If Mother Garrett and Mother Fairy were only 7 years apart.
This don't make no sense.
So it happens. It happens. It doesn't. It's not a bad thing. It's just that age. You know.
Yeah.
It is
Sometimes
what it is.
it ain't nothing but a number.
Yeah, it's just that's what Aaliyah said. Ain't that or was it R. Kelly?
Yeah, because I mean, you could be
Which
50.
one of them said that?
R. Kelly wrote it.
Well, we know what he meant, so it don't count coming from him.
Well, Aaliyah sang it, but he wrote it, I believe. But moving on I don't want to upset nobody. So sticking in Philadelphia, Jill Scott was trending on Friday evening, and she trended for like a whole 24 hours. There's a former NFL player named Kyle Queiro or Queiro, I don't know. I've never heard of him before. And he questioned that people are attracted to Jill Scott. And, you know, once that happened, a lot of people started replying. And, I mean, a lot of people started digging in his ass. And then he said, so, it's an energy thing. Okay, I got it.
Being a smart ass.
And then says, and by no means is she ugly. But y'all really sexually aroused by her, huh?
So you're throwing shots again.
Right. At another time. Now, listen, he's an attractive guy. You know, I look.
But he gives me, don't take this the wrong way, but he gives me somebody who likes women that look like Tommy Loren. That's what he gives me.
Like the.
He gives me somebody, a black man who likes women who looks like Tommy.
Huh?
Yes,
That
that's
don't
what he
talk
gives
back.
me. Yeah, he gives me that.
Not to say that white women don't talk back.
But you
come on.
understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why, to me, I felt, because his excuse was, oh, because I didn't grow up on Jill Scott.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, then I had to go Google him.
Yeah.
First of all, you were born in 1994. What do you mean you didn't grow up on Jill Scott?
He grew up on Jill Scott.
You grew up on
y'all
Jill
was taking
Scott.
a long walk and
Okay.
eating grits and all of that
Okay,
stuff. Stop
because
playing.
in 2004 you were 10, and by 2004 Jill Scott was pretty big on the radio.
Right.
Now, if you really and truly did not grow up on Jill Scott, then that means that you grew up in a Tommy Loren neighborhood with Tommy Loren type or Ben Carson type parents.
Right.
Okay, that's what I got from all of that, because I had to do my research on him.
Right.
Because I said to myself, you didn't grow up on Jill Scott. You're only 4 years younger than my sister, and she grew up and she knows exactly who Jill Scott
Everybody knows
is.
Jill Scott.
Everybody knows who Jill Scott is, because Jill Scott was big in the early 2000s, very big in the early 2000s. Her music was all over the radio in the early 2000s. So there's one of two things: either you grew up in a neighborhood with a bunch of Tommy Lorens, or you grew up with Ben Carson and what's her name, Candace Owen parents. But you ain't gonna tell me, as a black young man, that you don't know who the fuck Jill Scott is,
Right.
and that you don't know why people are attracted to her.
Yeah, she is attractive.
A
And then,
very beautiful
And
woman.
I've never heard anybody like down talk Jill Scott, like, why is anybody attracted to her? Why would you want to be with her or anything like that? And she has no problem pulling any man.
And she's a beautiful, curvy woman.
Right. And y'all see what she
Beautiful
did with that
smile.
microphone
Yes.
on stage.
Okay.
And I mean, everybody was hitting her up about
And,
that.
and aroused by it too. Remember when she did that? Everybody was hitting her up. So for him to
Right.
say that, it was just like, yeah, this guy is one of those black people who thinks that he is something that
God's
he's
gift
not.
to women.
Yes, and he's not.
Yeah.
And I'm glad people tore his ass tore him a new asshole, because he got his publicist, not him, got right on that thing and put out that apology.
2 days later, because he had blocked his Twitter and all of
Because
that.
it was too much.
Yeah. But I mean, who's checking for you?
Right.
None of these football teams.
Because I've never heard of you.
Yeah. He had the nerve. And plus, he was on the Dallas Cowboys for a while, and then he got cut. And then he went to the XFL, and, you know, then this thing happened where the pandemic started, and then everybody lost their job there. So, you know, it's still no NFL team wants him because he doesn't have a contract. And he had the nerve to get on Twitter, Kyle. Get on Twitter and start some shit. And then Jill Scott, she responded by not even responding to him.
Not even responding to him.
She said, okay, you know, can we talk about Breonna Taylor and everybody else?
She
and
said,
get
"Oh,
justice?"
I'm trending on Twitter." Oh, wow. Okay, and
Right.
that was a classy response.
Yes. Got his ass together.
Got his
So
ass
stupid.
all the way together. Kyle.
And just shout out to everybody online because, You know, Jill Scott wasn't bothering nobody.
Nobody. She was at home minding her business.
And it's still talk shit about her. Her verses with Erykah Badu is still the highest rated, highest viewed verses in the history of verses. Out of everybody that's been on there, Jill Scott and Erykah Badu has outdid
and
everybody.
their energy towards each other was so perfect.
Yes. Now they was giving a little bit too much positive energy to each other.
Yeah, but you know what?
But
that's what you need.
I
you need
loved
that.
it.
You need that in a world like this,
yes.
Especially in a world where you got a lot of these female artists who think that they're God's gift to this world and that nobody new can come and take their spot.
Right.
So yes, you need that type of positive energy.
Yeah, and the music that Jill Scott has, that Erykah Badu has, is timeless R&B music.
Right.
Like you can listen to that anytime.
Right. So for him to say he didn't grow up and he knows.
And you ain't make no good love to no woman to Jill Scott. Like, come on. Like
people like Tommy Loren don't listen to Jill Scott, so no, he didn't.
She got some songs for y'all asses. She is so nasty.
You can't tell me he don't mess with Tommy Loren.
Yeah, I'm sure he do.
You can't tell me.
A lot of them do, especially when they get a football contract. Why do that happen all the time? You know,
because they claim
Is
that
it a college thing?
they claim that those women don't chase you for your money. The hell if they don't. Okay, because they'll wipe you out if y'all get married and get divorced. Because they're gonna get that real good lawyer.
Yeah, especially if they got any children too.
Okay.
Bitch, they ain't no fool.
No,
They ain't no fool.
okay.
Yeah, but Jill Scott, we love you. Now it's been 5 years since you dropped the album. I don't know what's going on. I know you acting and all that, but I want an album. So please have something for me in 2021. The Shy happened this week, and this is a pretty good episode of The Shy, and we're seeing, you know, I'm glad that they pay a whole lot more attention to Keisha on this episode. Like, we didn't see Luke James' character and all that stuff. It was more so Dre and Ronnie working together to find Keisha. And, you know, it came to a point where they thought that they was getting somewhere and it wasn't her. Thank God, you know, because I'm like, damn, they really killed her off like that. So I don't know, like, I really don't know where she is right now. And it's just like,
and that's one of the mysteries. Like
Right.
you just have, they're not even showing you her. You just don't know where she's at.
where is Keisha? Who and why is she missing?
Is Keisha? I'm about to
And left her phone. left her phone.
Yeah.
They just left her phone at the bus stop. Did they fingerprint it, dust it, anything? Like, come on, somebody know something. And, you know, I'm glad that, you know, Ronnie is trying his best. And now we see that the real reason why Ronnie is working so hard to, like, find Keisha is because he wants to look like a hero again to his grandmother, which is, you know, sad at the same time because she doesn't remember the good things, but all she knows is she wants him to find Keisha so he can look better in her eyes. And Dre is really trying hard to, like, find Keisha. I don't want to say she's doing more than Keisha's mom, but, like, she's really, like, on it. Like, she's really on it. We see that Kevin and it wasn't more so about Kevin at the school, but he's only probably like 12 or 13. He's being whipped by this little girl already. This girl who's I don't know if he might be into her or like that, but I think that mentally she's definitely there. We see that Candy made her debut on The Shy. And I loved it. I loved it because I never looked at Candy as one of those type of girls that just walk in and be like, oh, I don't need no appointment, bitch. Oh, I'm his wife. You kidding me? Throw coats and walk in. But Candy's part, like, they're really going to help Otis, Duda. They're going to help him. I don't know how far he's going to get with this race, but everything is working for him now because now, bitch, Candy's, well, his wife is there. I don't know her name.
You always need a good spouse.
Right.
That's why a politician always needs a good spouse, whether it's a husband or wife. That's why I think that if Andrew Cuomo decides to run for president in a few years, he needs to find him a spouse.
Yes.
Because while many people may say, well, that doesn't matter. Why? And I know a lot of people are going to say that it doesn't matter. But when you really stop and think about it, we haven't had a president that wasn't married in over 100 years. over 100 years. And the last president to get married while he was president was Grover Cleveland. And that was back in the 1880s. Okay, you see where I'm going with
that's
this?
a long time.
So it is very important if you're going to be running for some type of political office that you have a good spouse. Now, however, a lot of mayors and governors are not married. I get it. But if you decide to run for a big office like president, and I know a lot of people in these past few months have been saying, oh, wow, Andrew Cuomo, if he ran for president, and no, you're not running the president to be somebody's husband, but it does look good when you are, because look how people were questioning Cory Booker.
Yeah. Oh, we knew that was a
yeah. Okay.
bitch. He paid her a couple dollars.
Okay.
He could have paid me. Shit.
Okay. You said he could have?
He could have.
Oh, okay.
I'm Kevin Simmons.
To be the spouse or to do
the spouse. I would have been there
because then you have access.
Judge would have some competition.
You see, Pooh Buttigieg had a husband. He was smart enough to have it, and look how long he lasted. Way longer.
And he was winning races.
And he was winning races because he was open and honest.
Right. Yeah. And remember that lady was like, "Oh my God, I want to take my vote back." He's married to a man. A man.
Like, miss, where the hell, what rock have you been living under that you don't know that he's gay? It got to the point that he was gay and you didn't even think about it.
No. I want to know where he is now. You haven't seen him anymore. You don't see the money man. We used to give everybody $1,000. You don't see him anymore.
Chang.
Yeah,
Wang.
don't do that.
No, what's his name? Oh, shit. Wang. Yang.
Yeah. I'm like, I thought you was making a sound. I'm like,
no. I knew it was something with an ang in it. Child. No. Baby.
They're going to come for us, bitch.
No. I was close. I said Chang because I thought that was his name.
Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang, yes.
Right. So I'm seeing that, okay, so dude he got Candy. Now he's claiming Jake as his son. Mm-hmm. He's looking like a real family politician and everything. He's getting his shit together a little bit. So I'm like, uh-oh. And then we seen Lena's character, Camille, come on screen. And she spoke about some real shit. And something that really, like, touched me when she talked about is it how, you know how we always look at Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. We talk about Martin Luther King. And all the other African-American leaders, but they're much older. And we always talk about how we don't have anybody our age. And we don't look to the leaders being in ourselves. We always want somebody else to do it. And that really touched me, especially during the time like we have this uprising going on, and it was just something that I was saying, like, yeah, we do need younger leaders, but don't look for me to be one of those people, because I really don't want to be one of them people. But we do have some of them, but then you can't trust the ones that's out here, especially some always trying to raise money. And I don't want to say nobody's name because I don't want to get sued, but y'all know who I'm talking about, the one that they claim is not black. Him, SK. I'll write his name down. You know, and then like
he was running for office.
No, he's not running for office. But I'm saying, like, he's looked at as a leader. But it's like, girl, you always got a scandal every couple months where somebody is saying things about you, and then everybody's on. Like, he's always has a big story, and he's always trending on Twitter whenever it comes out, which makes people not want to trust you. I don't know what happened to DeRay, because he was the one that was really like out there and like fighting a good fight, but I don't think he ever had a scandal. But I think somebody tried to start some stuff. It's just,
see, the problem
we can't
is
trust. Like, I don't know.
But see, the problem is too, a lot of us young African Americans don't like to take politics serious. Because you get on social media and you see a lot of black people to this day still saying, "Oh, why y'all voting? I vote. That ain't nothing but." You see what I'm saying? And so they discourage a lot of people from even getting involved, because it's like, y'all only got involved when Obama ran.
Right.
And after he left, now everybody's back to, "Oh, why you voting?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, like,
don't matter. Everybody needs to get out there and vote.
It doesn't. And I tell people all the time, let me tell you something. If my vote didn't matter, then Obama wouldn't have won 2 years in a row, because I voted for him both times.
Right.
And he won both times. So I like to think that my vote mattered. Yeah. Now, does that mean that every time you vote for somebody they're going to win? No. It doesn't mean that. But that's the whole process of getting out there and voting. Just like when you were in school, when you had class elections, didn't mean that your friend was always going to win, but that was the fun part about it. You got out there and you exercised your vote. But you have a lot of young black people today who are discouraging people from going out and even taking part in politics. Oh, why? Oh, everybody's just corrupt and this and that. Just like, so many young black, and I love the fact that a lot of young black people were backing Bernie Sanders, because that showed me that a lot of young black people were getting involved. However, I just felt like, and I still feel this way, when Joe Biden was vice president for 8 years, nobody had nothing bad to say about him.
Never. I've never.
Because he was Obama's right-hand man.
Yeah, and everybody thought it was cool that he
said
was
what
a white
Obama
man
wanted to say, and he was a cusser, and he said what Obama wanted to say, but he was the Uncle Joe. Everybody called him Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe. Quarters. Everything's a quarter. Okay? A quarter. You go in the blink of your eye.
Right.
Okay? He was Uncle Joe.
Right.
But now that train has left the station and has sailed on, now can't nobody stand him.
Right.
And I'm just like,
can't nobody stand Joe Biden. And we're staying in Chicago by bringing up Chance the Rapper, who got on Twitter this morning.
Yes.
And I mean,
Chi-Town.
Yeah.
Lena, go have a talk with Chance, okay?
I don't know what the fuck is going on. But let me tell y'all one thing. I'm going to say this. Just because you're black does not mean you are always voting for a Democrat, even though majority are. We should make anybody that's running for any type of office work for our vote.
That's right.
And we shouldn't just always press that Democrat on down. We
right.
need to see who's on the ballot and know why they're there or what they have done in their past before we think to even vote for them. Because a lot of them people we keep in office, they have become complicit or complacent in their jobs where they just do absolutely nothing.
And black people, please don't think that you have to be Republican or Democrat. You can be independent.
Yeah.
Because I had a thing a few months ago where I was seriously thinking of switching to independent. Because I feel like there are many times where I agree with the Democratic Party on certain issues, and then sometimes I agree with the Republican Party on certain issues.
Right.
And I'm just like, I'm torn sometimes, because it's now, would I ever vote for somebody like Trump? Fuck no. Hell no. First of all, when you see top Republicans like George Bush, Colin Powell, all these Republicans saying they're not voting for him, why the fuck would I go and vote for him?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, then Colin Powell get on TV like a month ago.
They're not even voting for him.
And he called him a liar.
Right.
He's a liar.
But I just think that there are some issues, and it's okay if you want to be an independent. It's okay. And it's okay if you vote Republican because you feel like some of the things that the Republican Party stands for is in line with what you agree with. Right. That's okay. Nobody's telling you to be a Democrat or Republican. But what I think we should stop doing is trying to discourage young African Americans out there from participating in elections and in voting, because that does not do us any service, especially when you stop and think about what our grandparents and great-grandparents had to go through to get us this right to be able to go out there and vote.
Yeah, and the way I see it right now, RBG is holding on.
I was about to say, who the hell is RBJ?
I meant to say, I didn't mean it's like LBJ. I meant to say she's holding on.
She's holding on.
And she's waiting. And because if she's get out of there and Trump is reelected, oh my God, you can say goodbye to everything that's Democratic on there. They might even overturn gay marriage, and I know for sure they will overturn abortion. Y'all really need to think about not voting or, I'm going to go to the poll, but I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden. You are out your motherfucking mind.
And see, that's, Kevin, that's what people are not understanding. That it's so, and I posted this on Facebook back in 2016, that the election is not just about who's running for president, but it's also about the Supreme Court. And I feel like, to be honest with you, the Supreme Court has a higher power even over the presidency, because once the president appoints somebody to sit on their court, those justices are there well after a president leaves office. You know what I mean? And they're going to be voting for things that is detrimental to us. You know, it's like, it's so important. You have to think bigger and past, who's going to be the president. You have to think the type of people that they will appoint. Like, for instance, Joe Biden said, and his wife said on The View recently when I saw her on there, that if he becomes president, he's going to appoint the first black female justice to the Supreme Court. And we've only had a handful of blacks. Well, two. Two.
Thurgood Marshall and Clarence
Thomas.
Dickhead ass Thomas.
Thomas, right.
And I'm,
And the Supreme Court has been going on for over 150 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I would love to see a black woman there. And he's also going to pick a woman of color. Well, I don't know.
Well, we don't know yet. I know.
But he's going to pick a woman, but he's going to pick a black woman. I mean, if he wants them extra votes and he put a black woman there, especially if it's Kamala Harris. But, people don't like her because, oh, my God, she threw people in jail. Like, oh, my God.
She did.
Yeah,
but you know what? Kamala Harris was a prosecutor who did her job.
Who did her job. Because it's just like if she did nothing, then they're like, why was she there?
Right. Well, we may not agree with the job that she did, but that was the job that she was put in place to do, and that was her job. Now, do we all agree with how she did it? No. I don't agree with a lot of her record either. However, I think that if he had a good chance of picking somebody, she would be the perfect person because she is a politician, and she is. I know some people were saying something about Stacey Abrams, and I had put on a great a post on Facebook a while back where I was comparing both Kamala Harris and Stacey Abrams, the pros and the cons. First of all, Stacey Abrams, I don't think has been elected to any public office. Has she?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
She's more like a local
level, but nothing national.
Right.
Whereas though Kamala Harris is a sitting senator, a sitting United States senator.
Right.
Okay. Kamala Harris has a much better relationship with Congress than Stacey Abrams would have. Mm-hmm. Stacey Abrams will be a good pro for Joe Biden with the younger voters.
Yeah,
but Kamala Harris, when you talking about wanting to get things done,
and who can lead the country? You got to think about that because who knows how long Joe Biden's going to be alive? He's 78 years old.
Right.
That's my birthday twin too. But somebody that can lead this country and leaving it. Like when I think about Elizabeth Warren, I look at them votes that she didn't get. Like when she started coming in 5th and 6th place, if she couldn't get them people to vote for her, what makes you think that they're going to vote for her under Joe Biden? It's not happening. He needs to pick a woman of color, and that woman of color is Kamala Harris. Point blank, period. But I'm just mad that Chance the Rapper is like encouraging this foolishness with Kanye West, someone who is not even mentally stable. And I make no jokes about him being not mentally stable because he needs to get that under control. He's bipolar. And we don't need anybody running this country who we know is bipolar and can make random decisions off the cuff that don't make any sense. So we need to be careful about that and thinking just because they black, we're just going to vote for them. But Democrats like Joe Biden and others need to understand that just because we're black don't mean you have already earned our vote. And that's really, really important that people understand that. But what I do see right now is that this is not the time to play around and say, oh, I think I might not vote this year. We are in an election year where every vote counts. We see for the past 3.5 years what Donald Trump has done to us, thought about us, talked about us, tweeted about us, what he's doing with the with Dr. Fauci and everybody else during this pandemic. This is a tough time for America, and we have lost over 135,000 lives, including my mother. This is not something that you could play around with and just think that, only it's 99%, Like, no, that's not cool because what about that 1%? Those people we lost. Like, they had lives and we loved them and we missed them and everything. And we just can't act like they didn't exist. And that's how Trump is doing it. And now we finally seen him in a mask. Like, girl, this is something you should have been doing a long time ago.
Right. So now what is that? Now what does your supporters say about that?
Yeah.
Are they going to now wear a mask, or are they going to keep arguing with people?
Yeah, they're going to keep. They're not going to keep wearing masks. We're going to see many Karens and Chads out there arguing.
Kevins, they call them Kevins.
They better not call them Kevins.
They do. They call them Kevins.
Well, we're going to call them Chad because I'm not going to call them.
They call them Kevins.
I'm not going to adopt that name because Kevins are sweet until you make them mad.
Kevin mad at a protester. Yeah, see, they call them Kevins. I'm telling you, that's what they call them, Kevins.
So November 3rd is very important, and that's my mother's birthday. I would love for America to bring it home for Joe Biden on that day. So let's move on to this lockdown, shutdown. California is shutting down everything that's indoor, and I agree with that. I don't think that California out of nowhere got these new cases like California and Florida. I think it's because people have started traveling and started getting out more. That's why more of those cases have been coming to those states. But now that it's there, but I really think as a country, what we should do is we need to shut it down. Like, shut down flights, everything. Give people a week to get where they need to go and shut this country down. And we need to be to the point where how like Italy was on lockdown. I don't think England was on lockdown too much, but I think we need to get to that point where we need to shut it down because this virus is doing too much. And the claim that keeps coming out is, because we have more testing available, that's why it's happening. No, because this virus is not going anywhere because people feel emboldened to not wear masks and go do what the fuck they want to do.
What they want to do.
And we need to shut it down. We really do. We need to shut this country down until we get it out of handle, because 60,000 cases a day, just because these people are not dead doesn't mean they won't die. And we're seeing young people die. And we're seeing a lot of younger people contract this. We need to really care about this. This is serious. Somebody went to a COVID party and they died. And they said, I think this was a big mistake. Yeah, it was a big mistake because you went to a party where you knew that person had it.
I can't believe people are just stupid like that. Yeah.
So they had a party.
Let me tell you something.
I ain't playing with my life like that.
Let me tell you something. baby, okay? Listen, we had a fear. Saturday was the first time we were inside of my church, inside of our sanctuary.
Right.
This year. Well, a few of us went like a month or two ago to go clean up, because we always go clean up like twice a year inside the sanctuary. It was the first time we were in there because of the funeral. And I loved the fact, because I got there as the family was coming in. And I got to give it up to my church, because they did the social distance thing down. And the ushers made sure, you don't have no mask on your face, you can't come in here.
I know that's right.
Okay. I was at a funeral on Thursday where the pastor of that church, she got up and told everybody, if I see you with a mask on, because apparently the church that I was at on Thursday where they had a funeral, they have a daycare connected, and apparently they must have opened back up this daycare. She said, if I see anybody in here with no mask on or their mask pulled down, I'm telling you to leave, because I refuse for anybody's child to get sick, even though they're in another building, but I'm not playing that.
Right.
And when I went to my church on Saturday, I was loving the fact with the social distances, but because you don't want to, you want to give people like him, who's been a servant for over 30 years, their proper Cinderella. Yeah. But you want everybody to still remain safe. Now, I do know that it would have been way packed had we not been in COVID. But it was a nice size crowd, but everybody was social distancing in there, and I just loved it. And you've been to my church, and you know how big the sanctuary is.
It's like a Catholic church.
Yeah, so it was yeah. Okay. But yeah, you gotta be safe. You can't be out here just willy-nilly, and and as much as I hate the mask, I know that I have to wear them.
Yeah, and you know why I hate it now? Because I do hate it. But the reason why I hate it is because of the heat. It's hot as fuck to be like this, and you're outside, and you're walking, and bitch, you trying to breathe, and it's just nothing but heat. First of all, it's heat everywhere. Is But I still wear it. Like when I go to the store, I wear a mask. So sometimes I'm just outside and I have a mask on, because I think that even though I know I had it, there's no chance that I couldn't get it again, or it won't be worse than what it was. And I'm getting sad. But you guys have to think about people who didn't even go outside and just stay inside. They never went nowhere, and they ended up catching it. You have to think about those people. So please think about that before you think it's your right to do what you want to do. Just because it's your life don't mean that what you do with your life don't affect others. I want y'all to remember that, because it do. No matter what you do, you never know who watching or who cares or what you may bring to somebody else. Just because you want to be out there living your life, you have to be careful. And the last thing is Naya Rivera. I want to send my condolences to her family. I'm so sad. I don't even want to sit here and speculate no more. It's just tragic. Period. What happened to be out on a boat with your son, and
they did a
they
news,
woke.
Yeah, they did a news conference where the authorities said that they think that the strong currents was
The reason
why she drowned. I know a lot of people were thinking that she committed suicide. I don't think that she did that. I honestly don't, because I don't think that she would. I feel like if you were going to commit suicide, you would have done a suicide/murder, meaning she would have took her son with her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't think that she would have taken her son all the way out in a boat in the middle of a lake and then jump off and then leave him there.
Right.
I just feel like if she was in that mindset of harming herself, then she would have either done it without her son being around, or she would have taken her son in that water with her. Right. Because it just never made any sense to me why she would commit suicide on a lake but then leave her son in this boat. Yeah. It just didn't make sense to me.
But it's just, I'm also thinking like the son is not saying like anything. Like, have we
I don't know.
heard anything? Or
I don't think they would
asleep?
release that just yet.
Yeah, they were
because
saying
he was only
asleep
because he's
on
only
the boat.
4 years old, and I don't think that they would release that just
I would
yet.
be traumatized.
Yeah.
I know I'd be traumatized.
Because if he was asleep, that little boy probably don't know what happened to his mom.
Yeah. But let me tell you, you remember how you be like 4 and 5 and you go to a supermarket or a shoe store and your mom let you wander around. Then all of a sudden they get crowded and you can't find your mom. You're like, I know she ain't fucking leave me.
Mm-hmm. When you were, yeah, right. Yeah.
I know that feeling all too well. Like, to wake up.
Not necessarily she let you wander around,
What is that?
but Chase, what?
Don't do that to him.
Because he's banging on that damn door. Check. You're going to knock the light down.
Hey, Chase.
Come here. You want to say hi?
Don't get in the video.
Chase, who that?
You keep pushing the light. There's a light behind the door.
Who that in the picture? My
That
mom?
that picture. You see her? Don't make sure his hands don't get smashed.
Who? You want to go upstairs or stay down here?
Yeah.
He said you want to go upstairs. Good.
But yeah, it's sad. Yeah, let you wander around, but your mom is so into what she's doing, and then you're into it. When you look up, you don't see her. Like,
Right.
wait a
Oh,
minute,
my.
what the fuck?
Right.
Yeah. But I know what you mean. Like, poor
I've
boy.
done them too many times.
Yeah.
And it's my heart. Like, I know she ain't fucking leave me.
Did they say
know.
who found him on the lake?
A man on a boat.
He found
happened
him.
to see him sleep on the boat by himself. So it's just crazy, So our thoughts and prayers go out to her, and I know that they found a body. It's not confirmed that it's her, but I'm sure, that it is. And it's
I think
just
they
horrible.
did confirm that it is her.
Yeah. No, it's horrible.
It is horrible.
And the really last thing that I had on there is Vivica Fox saying that she wanted Zendaya to play her daughter, and if they do the new Kill Bill with her daughter. Remember, her daughter, she told her, if you ever want to do something about it, or if you ever feel some type of way and you want to see me, come see me, or some shit Uma Thurman said to her. And I will be here for it 20 years later. I really would. So Vivica is basically campaigning for Zendaya to do it. And Zendaya has a show on HBO that, oh my God, my family was into the show. Euphoria. I haven't watched it yet, but they were like really, really into that show. So she's been doing a damn thing. It's on HBO.
I thought it was on Netflix.
Yeah, HBO. Euphoria, but it's good from. But the one time I did see it, oh my God, it was a really, really nasty sex scene on there. It was just really, really
Like
nasty.
even too
Like
nasty
watching
for you.
somebody on a camera and somebody so. I mean, the
Vulgar.
thing was like, it was literally like this.
Little.
That little.
Yeah. I've never mind. Because baby, they might be watching.
If you ever.
Oh my God, Kevin is. Which is
where and more. I'm so sorry, y'all, for that delay.
Because I'm like, wait a minute.
You did what?
How?
Oh, they did,
Oh, Kevin, I wish I could.
Yeah.
I wish it was a.
Most women would say that size don't matter.
No, baby.
But they say it's the motion in the ocean, no matter what it is, no matter what size. Because you got some people that got them things like could be like this microphone and don't know how to work it, and don't know how to work it. Yeah. So on this point, on that note, we're gonna go. Yes. We will see you guys later this week. We're going to give you guys another video, definitely another video, and we are returning to the podcast this week. So make sure y'all look forward to that. And if you have not listened to our podcast, you can download us on Spotify and on Apple Music, Google Play, or wherever you get podcasts. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys later this week.
Bye-bye.
Peace.